Muchas gracias por acompañarnos todas y todos. Thank you so much for being here. This session is going to be recorded, so if anyone knows anyone who wanted to be here and couldn't, you can tell them that they can find the recording on our YouTube page in later today or in a couple of days. I am very happy and grateful to be here with Brendan from the University of Liverpool. As some of you might know, the University of Liverpool is one of the best universities in the world. It is known for its academic excellence, cutting-edge research. It's actually part of the Russell Group. I'm sure Brendan will be talking a little bit more about that. And of course, it's located in a very amazing city within the UK. And so if you do choose the University of Liverpool, I'm pretty sure you are not only going to have a great time, you're going to learn a lot of things that are going to be useful for you in your future. So I will leave you with Brendan so he can tell us all about the University of Liverpool. I also wanted to remind people that we do have an agreement with the university on which FUNED-funded scholars do get a 20% discount, and women in STEM, women who go to STEM programs, will get a 25% discount. So it's that women in STEM in particular is new. We're very excited about it, and we do want people to use it this year. So please look it up and yeah, take advantage of this amazing opportunity. So Brendan, thank you so much for your time and for your support as always. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, you can open your microphones in the end, or you can pop them in the chat.
Perfect. Great. Thank you very much, Sophia. And it's great to see you again. It's been a long time, so I hope you're doing well. And thank you to everyone for joining us today for this session. As you said, my name is Brendan. I am the Country Development Manager here at the University of Liverpool, responsible for Mexico, but also the rest of Latin America and numerous other countries as well. So obviously today what I'm going to do is give you a general introduction to the university, the city, and I'll also talk about those funding options that Sophia's just talked about as well. I'll give a little bit more information because we have a few updates that have happened very recently as well in that area, which I also want to share with Sophia. So in terms of what we'll do today, I'm going to just show you now. So first of all, I hope you can see my screen okay. So these are the 8 kind of sections that we are going to cover today. So first of all, apologies, I'm looking this way because my screen's over here. First of all, we're going to look at the city of Liverpool, so the world famous location where we are based. Then we'll look at the university itself, the facts about the university, the history, study opportunities, and so on. Then we'll look at the campus itself and the facilities that we have. Then we'll look at accommodation. Then we'll look at careers and support services, but in particular, the career support that we offer here at the University of Liverpool. Then we'll look at the tuition fees and scholarships. Obviously, that's kind of a big area for today's session. And then we'll also look at the guidance for applicants, especially the entry requirements. In this case, we'll obviously focus on postgraduate entry requirements. And then lastly, we'll look at ways to stay in touch with the university as well. So that's what we're going to do today. And of course, like Sophia said, if anybody has any questions during the session, feel free to raise the questions at the end, or you can raise the questions in the chat box or the Q&A at the bottom of the screen, and we can pick them up during the session or at the end of the session as well. Okay, so we'll get started. Okay, so the world famous city of Liverpool, first of all. So I'm sure many of you know the name. You know the football club, of course, because I'm sure there are many football fans in Mexico and around the whole region. So this city where we are based, obviously, is one of the most famous, not just in the UK, but internationally recognized for its culture, history, the shopping experiences as well, the sport, everything about the city of Liverpool. It's just a very exciting place to be. And I also say that as somebody who is not from Liverpool. I'm not born in Liverpool. I'm from a different city in the UK. So I'm also experiencing this city as an outsider, like you will be when you come here as well. So I think I have more of an objective view of the city. So we are very much a historical, cultural, maritime city with a big focus on sports and music, as you can probably imagine. We're also one of the largest cities in the UK. So the city region has a population of 1.5 million. So it's not a small city, it's a fairly big city. And we are obviously very well connected to other cities around the UK. And if you're thinking about opportunities here in terms of like part-time jobs, many part-time jobs available, it's got a strong local economy, lots of great shopping to be done. There's lots of things you can do basically in Liverpool. And also the cost of living in the city is lower compared to other large cities in the UK as well. So if you're concerned about how much it will cost you to come to the UK in total, not just tuition fees, then bear in mind that Liverpool is a very cost-effective city to live in if you are a student. And we have 70,000 students in the city, so it's a very student-focused city. So that's a little bit of an overview of the city. And also in terms of location, just so you can kind of orient yourselves. So as you can see on the map here, we've got the campus on the far right of the page. And then in the middle, we've got the city centre. And then we've got the historic docks and the waterfront in the kind of middle there by the river. The reason I want to show you this is because it's very centrally located. Everything is within walking distance. So in Liverpool, you don't really need to take a bus anywhere. You don't need to take the subway, but you can if you want to. Everything is walkable. So you can literally spend 10 minutes to walk into the centre. Perfect. So that's basically the setup in Liverpool. And here you can see what it looks like from the air as well. It's a very historical city, but also a very modern city now as well. So it's an exciting place to be. Okay, now we'll look at the university because that's the real reason you're here today. So if we have a look at some statistics first of all. So first thing I want to mention is rankings. So the current QS Global ranking for the University of Liverpool is 165. To put that into context, a few years ago, just 2 years ago, we were about 196, I think it was, something like that. So we've gone up 20 places in the last 2 years, and we're working very hard this year to increase that to around 150. Very hard indeed. So don't be surprised if that number goes up this year. That's one thing I would say to remember. And also with the Times Higher Education rankings, THE, we are currently 160. And within the UK, we are generally ranked around top 20, top 25 institutions in the UK in the national rankings as well. We're also part of the Russell Group, so I'm sure many people are aware of the Russell Group, but if you're not so familiar, it is basically the same as the Ivy League in the United States. So it is the top group of universities in terms of teaching and research excellence. That's obviously very applicable and very important to master's students, which obviously you're in the position you want to be master's students here at the university. So you get to benefit from all that world-class research. And 91% of our research that's done at the university is considered globally leading, internationally leading research. So not just high quality, but internationally leading, especially in areas related to STEM, health sciences in particular. We are a world leader in terms of health sciences and pandemic research, for example. So there's some really important areas of research that take place at the University of Liverpool. We also have the TEF Gold Award for our teaching excellence as well, but that generally refers more to undergraduate teaching. So I'll leave that one for now, a different audience. And then we also have a triple accredited management school. Now, obviously, this will apply to some people here on the call today, but not everybody, because obviously we have the STEM discount, but we also have the standard one. So for the standard discount that we have through FUNED, this would be applicable to some students there. So you can join our triple accredited management school. Now, why is that important? Because our management school is around 25 years old. So it's a fairly young management school, but for the last, well, more than 10 years, it's been triple accredited. And the triple accreditation is the highest standard you can get anywhere in the world when it comes to the quality of a management school. So any business programs, management, marketing, data analytics, anything you might want to do in that area, you cannot get better programs than the ones that we have in our management school. And the main thing to remember about those in particular is that it's very career focused. So whatever your career goals are, whatever you plan to do after university, this will really help you in terms of the course, facilities, staff, and the career development skills that are built into the degrees as well. These are common across most of our departments anyway, so this is no surprise, but the triple accreditation for management schools is something that really. And then next one is we have over 140 years of history at the university. So we were one of the original red brick universities created in the 19th century. So part of the group of universities that were created for the large cities outside of London. Obviously, the original ones like Oxford and Cambridge are a little bit older, but for most of us in this particular group, we were created in the 19th century as that core group of historical universities for the major cities of the United Kingdom. So lots of history. And then lastly, one thing to mention is that we're currently in the middle of a £1 billion campus investment plan. And I'm glad to say that half of it's already been done. So if you're around the campus, you get to see lots of modern buildings that have been created in recent years that you get to take full advantage of as well. And that's not to mention also other investments nearby, like the Royal Liverpool University Hospital, which is next to our campus. We manage it, and it's one of the largest and most important hospitals in the UK. So if you are looking to do a course that's anything related to medicine or health sciences, for example, then you get to take advantage of those facilities as well. So this is a general overview of the major points about the university. If I go on to the next page, you can see a list of courses that we have. This is based on subject area. So in total, we have around, I think it's 400 different courses available. These are just the subject areas. So I'll pick out a couple that really stand out and very briefly talk about them. Otherwise, I can talk all day. So the first ones I'd mention are accounting, finance, economics, business, for example, management, marketing. They're scattered around the list. They are the ones I mentioned before in our management school. So absolutely fantastic programs with amazing career development skills built into it. Another one I will mention is engineering. So we are a top engineering university in terms of the quality of the courses, the research, also the facilities, and amazing industry links as well. So aerospace engineering is on the top of the list there, but we also have many other ones like civil engineering, structural engineering. We also have engineering management as well, mechanical engineering with management. So you can combine your degree in areas like that, which is fantastic. So you get the two sides of the course. With aerospace engineering, I'll also mention the fact that we have amazing connections with Airbus UK. So if you are looking to go into that particular area in any particular course related to aerospace, or even our management school as well, because they also have connections, we have those great connections with the most important aerospace companies in the world. So that's something that will definitely help you if you're doing this particular course at the University of Liverpool. Another one I'll mention is biological and biomedical sciences, along with medicine, also with veterinary sciences, and also dentistry as well, and the health sciences courses. Like I mentioned before, many top-ranked programs, very top-ranked, and also we are considered one of the either the largest provider of medical courses in the UK, I think, currently at the moment. But we also have many other programs, like I said, with biomedical sciences, biomedical engineering, for example, and some absolutely world-class facilities that you get to use whilst you're studying here at the University of Liverpool. Other ones I mentioned, computer science, for example, data science as well, artificial intelligence, lots of new courses, very exciting courses in this area that are being updated a lot at the moment. So we have lots of new courses that have been launched this year. So I'd recommend take a look at our website to see the course listings, and then you can see exactly which courses are available because they keep getting updated all the time. It's impossible to add them to every slide every time. But basically lots of exciting courses that have great industry connections and are also very relevant for the kind of courses that people want to do with the skills and career plans that people have. Also, we can see there electronics, electrical engineering. Again, that's mentioned within the engineering area that we discussed previously. Another one is game design, which falls partially within the kind of School of Arts and also within computer science. They have great facilities, really good facilities, and great connections with companies like Sony, for example, because they have a presence here in the city of Liverpool. So that's a very cutting edge part of our offering here at the university. We also have one of the oldest law schools in the UK, might be actually the oldest law school. It's over 120 years old. And we also offer programs through the University of Law for anybody who's interested in doing that through national programs. But the University of Law, aside from being one of the oldest law schools in the UK, is actually in one of the newest law school buildings in the UK. So you get all the advantages of having, really modern facilities, but a very historical and prestigious law school here at the University of Liverpool. And that also includes courses like sociology, social policy, and criminology. And then a couple of other ones I'll mention, for example, would be psychology, for example, which is also part of our general health sciences offering and is also very well accredited and very well liked by international students in particular. That is a general overview of the courses that we offer. It's quite a long list in general here, but also on our website, we have a very long, detailed list of every single course that is available. If anybody is interested in a particular course and wants to reach out to me for questions, just let me know. That's absolutely fine. And also, we'll talk about this a little bit more later when it comes to the Women in STEM programs, for example. But for now, we'll leave this course list for now, and we'll go on to the next page. So this is our global ops or global opportunities section. So we have a couple of major kind of general areas that I'll cover. So the first one is study abroad. So this is normally for undergraduate students, but it can be factored into postgraduate courses as well. So for some students at postgraduate level, they may have the chance to study abroad, and it's something that you can look into with the study abroad team whilst you're here at the university. We also have numerous programs that have a year in industry option. So this is often the case for STEM programs, not every single STEM program, but many of them. And this is for undergraduates and postgraduates. So for some students, you can actually come to do your master's degree for 1 year and then spend another year working in a professional job connected to your degree here in Liverpool, or nearby in Manchester, or within the UK. But you're still on a student visa, you're still classed as a student, but you're earning an actual salary. So that's a real benefit in terms of obviously, taxes and things like that, but obviously your student status, and you're still here in the UK, and you get the benefit of the support from the university when looking for a suitable job for that experience. And then lastly, we have the language courses. So these are available to all students. We have a number of open programs. Some of them are built into degrees. Some of them can be added in, and some can be paid for as well for a modest course fee, something like a few £100 if you want to add in another language course as well that's separate to the degree. But in many cases, language options are available. I think we have around 15 to 20 different languages available in all the major languages of the world, basically. So they're kind of the main large areas that we focus on. And as you can see in the pictures, there's some photos of the locations that you could go to. One main one I will mention is our campus in China. So for any students who are really keen on going to China, for example, whether it's for a short study period, then that's something you can look at doing as well. Okay. Of course, any questions later, just let me know. And now if we look at the campus. So here is a kind of an overview of some of the kind of highlights and spots across the campus that I'll briefly talk about. So the quadrangle is the center of the campus, which is where our main Victoria building is located. A beautiful museum and cafe building, but it's also the home for computer science, aerospace engineering, and other engineering and research facilities as well. It also has a very pretty garden in the middle, which is where many people go for their lunch. Then in the middle, we have the management school. The management school is half historical and half really modern. This is the beautiful historical entrance at one side of the building. Everybody likes to take pictures with this. The next one there is the Health and Life Sciences building. That's part of the wider Health and Life Sciences campus, which, like I said before, is a very, very modern, advanced kind of campus inside a campus specifically for health sciences. We also have our MBA building there as well. So we have absolutely amazing MBA programs. Pleased to tell you we have 2 MBA programs actually. So we've got the standard flagship Liverpool MBA, and we also have the Football Industries MBA as well. So that's a separate option that you can consider. And we do have some graduates from Mexico who have done our Football Industries MBA program. We call it FIMBA. We even have some graduates who are actually on TV. They're actually TV celebrities in Mexico who've actually done this program in the past here at the University of Liverpool. So definitely in a good cohort of students if you do decide to do our MBA programs in particular. And then the next one is our law school. I talked about that one previously. We've got our Yoko Ono Lennon Center, which is a very advanced auditorium facility for music performances, lectures, and so on. But it's obviously connected to the Beatles indirectly, so that's it's quite interesting. And then lastly, we've got the Guild Walk there. Just shows a little bit of the greenery that we have on the campus, because obviously we are a city location, but it is a beautiful green space as well. And then if we have a look at some of the facts here, some bits and pieces I want to talk about. So the campus itself is 5, maybe 10 minutes from the city centre. So it's very, very close. So there's no need to travel on the bus or any other means to get from the city centre to the campus. Is literally right next to it. Extremely convenient, very, very well located. No problem at all there. We also have the campus investment plan that I just talked about earlier, so £1 billion being invested in the campus. We have a modern, we have a modern sports centre and also our students' union based on campus as well at the centre of the campus with very affordable membership for the sports centre, so it's very affordable for students, and also the guild, our union, which has over 230 different student societies, I believe. That is free membership for students, and there's lots of different groups available for different nationalities, different activities, anything you want to do basically, then you can do it in our students' union. We also have two 24-hour libraries on campus. One of them is in the North Campus, so it's the green section on the map, and then one is on the South Campus, which is the blue section on the map. One is more focused on STEM, and the other one is more focused on social sciences, humanities, and so on. The green section is for the STEM, blue is for humanities, essentially. And then next one is the vets. So if any students are particularly interested in doing any courses related to veterinary sciences, that is something that we are a world leader in. We are the top 2 in the UK for veterinary sciences. We have specialist advanced facilities on the main campus, but we also have a specialist dedicated campus on the other side of the River Mersey in the countryside, where we have all the advanced research facilities, and we also have all the animals over there as well in the countryside. And then the last one there is in terms of accommodation. I'll talk about that later, but we have lots of great options available across the campus and nearby for undergraduates and postgraduates. So great places to live in the city. If I just go to the next page, here we go. So for this one, you can see a little overview of the campus, and apologies for the blurry image. This is taken directly from Google Earth, so it's not 100% clear. But what you can see here is an overview of the campus, and this is about 2 years old, this map, so some changes have happened already. But as you can see, there's lots of modern developments that have been taking place across the campus. You can see at the top, lots of developments have been taking place with the University Hospital campus, with our International College, things like that. You can see the very interesting building on the left in the centre is one of the 2 Liverpool cathedrals as well. So lots of interesting things taking place here on campus. As you can see, there's lots of older traditional buildings in the top left and the bottom right as well. And if you look to the left-hand side, you'll see that it's literally just 5 minutes down the road and you get into Liverpool city centre. So extremely accessible, really easy to get there. And if you are arriving in Liverpool for the first time, then you can actually take the coach or express bus, depending on which term you use, and it actually comes directly from Manchester Airport, 40-minute journey, and then it drops you right in the middle of the campus. So you don't need to travel anywhere else. You go from your plane to the bus, straight to the campus. No changes. Very, very convenient. And Liverpool Line Street train station, which is our main train station, it's the oldest in the world actually, and that is just 5 minutes down the road there. Very, very convenient place to study. So yeah, great place to be. Okay, so now if we go on to accommodation, which also is very important. So here is a little overview of some of the accommodation options that you have here at the University of Liverpool. Some of these are specifically for undergraduates. So the first one, Greenbank Student Village, and also Melville Grove, so the first and the last pictures, they are more suited to undergraduate students. But for the rest of them, they are mixed. So Vine Court, Philharmonic Court, Crown Place, Dover Court, they are all on campus and they are available to international postgraduate students. They're all a very, very similar standard of quality and what's available inside. As you may or may not know, in the UK, the vast majority of accommodation at universities is your own single private room with your own included single private bathroom as well. And then what you would normally do is you share your lounge and kitchen space with around 4 to 6 other students, maybe usually 5 actually. And that's the general setup for all of these buildings. So you don't normally have your bathroom shared with anybody else. You have your own private space to yourself. And that's the case for basically all of these buildings, as far as I know. And as you can see, they're all very modern. Even Melville Grove, which is a slightly older one, that was recently renovated. So now they're all very modern facilities for you to live in. And in total, we have around 4,400 rooms available on campus. Now, you may have noticed earlier that we have around 33,000 students in total. So in the UK, normally what happens is for undergraduates, they live on campus in the first year and then they move off campus later. For postgraduates, you can spend your 1 year here on campus, or you can live in private accommodation off campus. And I'll show you a little map in a moment to give you an idea of where the accommodation actually is as well. So if we look at some details first, so here we have our award-winning accommodation service. I know they're fantastic because I talk to them all the time. Very supportive team of people based in the accommodation buildings themselves, so they can support you with any queries that you have. The buildings all have regular security support staff based in the buildings to help you with any questions you might have. They have secure bike facilities, laundry facilities, games facilities, lounges, all of these things available in all the buildings across the campus, and also some of them do have gym facilities as well, which is fantastic. We also have other options available next to and close to the campus called our approved supporting providers, I think it's called. So technically, the official extra accommodation providers. One of them is Kaplan. So Kaplan is a major international company that we work with, and they actually run our international college here on campus. So it's the bottom left picture there on the screen now. That's our international college, and that is also an accommodation provider that you can use whilst you're here at the university as well. And then also just look at some of the details here. So in terms of the prices, so they generally range from around £165 per week to £230 per week. But being honest, the best option is to go for the cheapest one. And the reason why is because all the accommodation is for individuals, so no family accommodation available. And that means that it's best to go for the standard room. So if you look at the pictures on the screen, those two pictures are standard rooms. So there's no point paying more. You go for the standard room. The quality is fantastic. So I would recommend going for just a standard room in whichever building that you're looking to go to. Like I said before, all of the buildings have ensuite bathrooms, shared kitchens and lounges. They have the dedicated staff and so on. And one thing I will mention is that with these buildings, we don't offer any cafeteria or dining options included. The reason is in the UK, they're not that popular. So most universities do not have that option anymore. But having said that, on campus, there are numerous places to eat and drink. So, for example, on the South Campus and the Central Campus, and also actually on the North Campus, there are clusters of different cafes, coffee shops, supermarkets, various places to eat and drink. So whatever kind of food you want to have, or if you want to cook your own food at home in your accommodation, lots of options. And like I mentioned before, the cost of living, the cost of the food and so on, is lower than in other large cities. So it's affordable to live and study here at the University of Liverpool. And then in terms of wanting to learn more, so if you want to learn any more information about the accommodation, I would literally recommend going to Google, type in University of Liverpool accommodation. You'll find their web pages, and it lists all the accommodation, the options, the processes, and so on. It's quite simple, really. And like I said, with the accommodation team, they are very supportive and very flexible. So if you have a query or concern or anything, they'll be able to help you. And one lucky thing for you guys is if you are applying for Mexico, of course, and you have a query, I am the official contact from the international team to the accommodation team. So if you need any help, just let me know. And then lastly, private accommodation. So it says off campus because it's quite close to campus, but yeah, technically not on the campus. So we say off campus. So with the private accommodation, in the last 10, 15 years, many, many new buildings have been constructed within Liverpool, specifically as student accommodation. There is around 70,000 international students in Liverpool at the moment because there are 5 universities here in and near Liverpool. So it's a very student-focused city. So that means you have lots of options on campus and off campus. So whichever option you want to take, you have lots of options available to you. The most important thing, though, is to go to liverpoolstudenthomes.org and search for your accommodation options on there if you are looking for private off-campus accommodation. The reason we tell you to go to this website is because it's the official kind of coordinating website for all private accommodation that's suitable for students, especially international students, and it's endorsed and supported by all 5 universities here in Liverpool. So don't look on Google or anywhere else because you may not find a reputable place to stay. this is the website that's officially endorsed by all 5 universities here in the city of Liverpool and near Liverpool as well. Okay. And if anybody has any questions about accommodation, just let us know and we'll be able to answer those later. Okay. And lastly, just one thing before we finish accommodation. This is an overview of some of the locations of the accommodation. I won't go into all the details because there are more than this than have been built recently. But basically, as you can see, there are lots of accommodation options on and very close to the campus. So you're not isolated, you're not far away from the city, and you're not far away from the campus. You have lots of options right there in the center. Okay. So now if we go to careers and services, in particular careers. So for this one, as you can see, we have absolutely amazing industry connections in the UK and internationally. Some of our top connections in terms of business connections, but also our alumni include Microsoft, Google, Coca-Cola, Airbus, Rolls-Royce, BAE Systems, many more. I heard about a recent student who finished their master's course that went to work for Bentley, the car company. So we have lots and lots of great connections, and lots of alumni go to major international companies. The current CEO of Coca-Cola is from the University of Liverpool, so that's something we're quite proud of. We have this award-winning careers team, and they are very, very supportive, very well organized, and do lots and lots of different events to bring students and companies together. And part of the benefit is being in the Russell Group, but it's not that simple. They use lots of technology, innovative technology, to help you build your skills and develop your resume presentations, application skills, all these things when it comes to job applications and also your career development. They have 2 specialist teams. So one is the career coaches, which you can actually not see on the screen. They're the digital coaches. So there's the career coaches and the digital coaches. The career coaches are the ones who can help you with your career development, any part of it that you want to talk about. They can guide you through the process. It's a free service available to all students from the day you arrive. And the digital coaches are the ones who can help you with your advanced digital skills, for example, coding or anything like this that you need for your future career. So that's an important part of what we offer. And like I said before, with the events on and off campus, virtual events, connecting with companies, we are part of the top, well, it says top 25, actually part of the top 20 universities in the UK that are best connected with companies. Companies come to our university to meet students like yourselves, to recruit people. So you don't need to go exploring for jobs. You get the opportunities to meet companies on campus whilst you're here. Like I said before, you have the support, the advanced face-to-face support, and also digital support. We have our advanced career studio, and that also includes our new £1 million enterprise studio as well, where students can engage in career development, business development, setting up companies, and so on. That's quite exciting. I think that's covered everything. Yes. So I think that's all we're covering about careers there. One thing I'll just remind you all of is it's award-winning. They have a very large team, very supportive, and their career studio is right at the center of the campus, and it's open and available to all students, and it's a free service. But on top of this, you also get career support in each individual department. So whichever course you're taking, whichever section it is, whether it's engineering, computer science, or anything else, you get career support within that department as well. So with the University of Liverpool, it's a strategic priority to make sure that students have those skills and knowledge and connections before you graduate from the university, and you get multiple layers of that support. So if you are very focused on your career development, if you know what you want to do or don't know what you want to do, we can guide you through the process. We can assist you in whichever way you want assistance from us. So one thing I would recommend from today's webinar, just remember the career support is one of the most important things about the University of Liverpool, and the results and the graduate outcomes, the alumni success and so on, is a very big part of what we offer to you as students at the University of Liverpool. Okay, so now if we go on to the fees and scholarships, so let's talk about the money. That's the big thing. So here, I'll talk a little bit about other funding options. So apologies to Sophia and the team at FUNED. I just want to give you a general overview of the other general options that we offer, just in case if you're not successful with your FUNED application, or if you just choose to go in a different direction, these are the other options that are available. So the first one does not necessarily apply because this is for postgraduates today, so I'll not talk about the undergraduate scholarships. But for the other two, we have £5,000 scholarships available for a wide range of master's courses. In some cases, it's a split one, so it's 2,500 plus 2,500. Half of that is for a high GPA, and half of it is for the country that you come from. It includes Mexico, so you can take advantage of this opportunity if you have a good GPA, and that applies to around 145 different degree programs. Another one that we have is £5,000, which is a kind of semi-automatic scholarship that applies to around 30 different master's courses. So you see, there's two slightly different options, but they're both £5,000. But generally speaking, you do not need to submit a separate application for these scholarships. So your application will be assessed just like everybody else. Just make sure it's a good personal statement, a good letter, and make sure you've got good grades, of course, and good experience, and you'll be automatically considered for the £5,000 postgraduate global advancement scholarships. Okay. The other one on the side there, you might have seen the 50%, big numbers there. So that is our scholarship available for master's students in our management school. So only for postgraduate master's level, only in the management school. That one is competitive. So obviously there's lots of interest in this particular course, no surprise. Sorry, this particular scholarship, and no surprise about that. There's no separate application for this, so just bear that in mind. You do not need to apply separately. Your application will be assessed the same as everybody else, so that's quite easy, but it is competitive. So just bear that in mind. So 50% is great, and I know plenty of students that have got it. I've met many people. There's no exact limit on how many places there are available to students, but obviously it's competitive, so just bear that in mind. Okay, so these are the main ones that we have. Okay, it's also worth mentioning that we do have other funding options available in Mexico. FUNA is obviously one of our main ones that we have a great relationship with, and that's what we're talking about today. But we also do have several other options available for students, particularly at postgraduate level, coming from Mexico. So all details can be found on our website. If you have a look at our scholarships pages, you'll be able to see the information on there in particular. Okay. Apologies, I'm losing my voice. I've had flu this week, so I think I'm slowly not being able to talk. And so now if we go on to tuition fees. So with this one, this is the information that's correct for this academic year. So as you can see, the courses costs for master's students in particular are listed in the middle. So let's take, for example, humanities and social sciences. It's around 24,000 to 26,000. Okay, for management and MBA, 28 to 33. 33,000 is for MBA programs, generally speaking. Science and engineering, it's around 24 to 37. Usually it's less than 30. 37 is only specialist programs. Health and life sciences, again, is less than 30,000. And it's also worth bearing in mind that the different courses obviously have very different fee structures. So it's worth looking at different options and seeing if there are similar courses that actually have, a different price point. So if you see one which is a lower tuition fee level, but it's similar to one that you want to do elsewhere, then just consider you might want to switch course based on those tuition fees. Lots of students do this kind of thing. It's the same with the scholarships that we just talked about. So sometimes students will see that there's a course they want to do that's not on the list, but there's a similar course that is on the list. So you can just change to that one, because we have lots of courses available in those core academic areas. So there's bound to be an option available in the area that you want to study. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of that in too much detail, but you can feel free to take a screenshot of that. And obviously the course fees for each course are available on the individual course pages, so you can see how much each individual course costs here at the university. Okay. And now we get onto the FUNED option. So this is the thing that obviously Sophia was talking about in the very beginning. So I have a little bit more information here. And obviously all the information here is on the website. So people can refer to that. But one thing I will mention is that we are adding more courses to the list. So it is STEM courses, and we had the initial coverage, which was like engineering, computer science, and so on. And now we've added more courses to this list as well. So students have more options available if you're looking for the Women in STEM option in particular. So this is our new agreement that we signed a few months ago, I think it was. So it's a fairly new agreement, so really happy to have this in place. And this is a 25% discount on tuition fees for students who are being funded through FUNED. For the first option on the screen, it's a 20% discount for students doing a master's course, and that's not limited to women in STEM. That's much broader for everybody else. But bear in mind, these and all the other ones we talked about, none of them can be combined. So you get one or the other, but they cannot be combined. So just bear that in mind. Obviously, consider your options, which one it suits you best, basically. I've noted there at the bottom that we have the full list of programs is available, but we're expanding our list of courses, and we're also expanding the list of courses that are applicable to the Women in STEM program in particular. So I can't give you the exact list right now, but just rest assured that many programs are now added to the Women in STEM list in particular. Okay. I see Sophia's come back on now. Sophia, do you have anything you want to add at this point in terms of these two particular programs before I do the last couple of slides?
No, not really. Just wanted to make sure that you knew that I was listening to this part. Well, the whole this part, and yeah, because we're very excited with this new opportunity, and so we do hope we get a lot of people applying.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, well, same here. We're really looking forward to this. Yeah, I know the academics, the university are excited about this too. So yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry.
Just to say that I know that you didn't want to mention your other Mexican partners, but to assure everyone that you can combine the funding from FUNED and from FIDER or other funding bodies. You won't get the two scholarships, as Brendan said, but you can get both funding so that you can be calmer on your process.
Yes. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so like I said, we have the agreements in place with multiple providers. So FIDER, FUNED, CONACYT, which has now changed, of course. So we do have multiple providers in place, and they're listed on our website. The reason I say that is because we are expanding across Latin America. There's a broader list of options that are growing all the time. But today we're talking about FUNED. So now if we go on to the last couple of pages here, so we're getting close to the end. Apologies, this screen is quite busy, lots of things on here, but I'll just refer you to the bottom part of the screen here. So this is our process internally, okay? So when it comes to applications for master's courses, just for the university in particular, you can submit them from October if you are considering starting in September the next year. Okay, so if, for example, if you want to study at the University of Liverpool this year, 2025, in September, you can start your application in October last year, or do it now. That's absolutely fine. And the deadline is usually in July. Okay, if you are considering doing a January program, for example, so that would be January 2026, then the applications have opened now. So essentially, it's about 1 year before when the applications open, and then the international deadline is usually a few months before the actual courses start, around 2 or 3 months before. Then we've also mentioned the exam results. That applies to students who are obviously going straight from an undergraduate program to a master's program. If you have already graduated a few years ago from your bachelor's degree, then ignore that part. And then the course start date is obviously in September. So that's usually the 3rd week of September. And then obviously January as well, around the end of January. So that's normally how it works. And obviously when it comes to our agreement in general, I know Sophia maybe wants to jump in after this, but basically the way it works is you would need to have your offer from the university first. Obviously, you have an offer from us to study one of our courses, and once that's all confirmed, then you can apply for FUNED funding at that point. And I believe Sophia's told me before there's a rolling acceptance, so there's no hard deadlines. But Sophia, do you want to jump in and mention any more about that?
Yeah. So yeah, you do need your letter of acceptance from the University of Liverpool, and our call usually opens in the end of February and it closes in October, or if we run out of funds. So we do encourage folks to get their applications early in the year, also because of the scholarships with the universities, they are limited. So you want to be the first to be applying for that as well.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah, always apply early for everything like this, whether it's the funding or the courses. Early is always better. And one thing to mention is obviously if you have any questions, whether it's the funding from FUNED or if it's anything from our side with the courses, the application process, please just let us know. Obviously it's our job to support you guys in multiple different ways, so please do get in touch with any questions or feel free to ask them today as well. Okay, so if we go on, so we're almost at the end now. This is for undergraduate, so you don't need to worry about this today. This is for postgraduate. So generally speaking, we normally require for most students a kind of a 2-1 equivalent for degrees for postgraduate level. So 2-1 is basically the second highest grade for UK undergraduates or any graduate qualifications, and that usually turns out into a GPA of 3.0 for many places. I think that's kind of the international standard, so about 3.0. That's what's normally required for the University of Liverpool and also many other similar universities as well. If anybody has a question about the requirements and whether it converts into the scores that you have for your degree, for example, whether it's like 75, 80% in some cases, then obviously get in touch and you can ask us. And there is a lot of more detailed advice on our website as well, especially on our Mexico page. But this is the general requirement, and you'll see that on each course page, it also mentions a bit more information as well. But this is the general information that we have, okay? And then also for English as well. So we generally need an English certificate. So we accept IELTS or TOEFL or Duolingo as well, which is a new one. And the general requirement is around 6.0 or 6.5 in the IELTS system, and then the equivalent in the other systems, okay? So they're the main things. They're the general requirements. And then also just make sure that your degree is accepted on the database, on ECTIS, but basically, if you've gone to a well-known established university, then you'll have absolutely no problem. If there's a question, we'll figure it out later. But generally speaking, there's no problems. And then also, one thing is, with English requirements, we already talked about that one. Just bear in mind that there are numerous different options available, but it's important to check the specific English test that we do accept. So it's not every single TOEFL, for example. It's like TOEFL IBT that's accepted. So it's important for students to make sure that it's the right test. Some are not accepted. So the most important thing to do is to check which course you're interested in, look at the course page on our website, and at the bottom of the page, it will say which English tests are accepted for that particular course. That's the most important place to look for this information. Okay. So yeah, that's the general guidance and so on, entry requirements. And one thing I'll also mention, which is not on here, is in terms of like professional experience and things like this. So obviously, for students who are looking to do a master's degree, it's likely that you have some professional experience. You probably did some work after you did your bachelor's degree. That's not always required for every degree, of course. But if you're looking to do something like an MBA, then it is required. You would need around 4 or 5 years professional experience. If you have experience that's related to any other degree that you want to do, it generally helps. It makes the application stronger. But these listed on the page now, these are the core requirements. So your previous GPA and English requirements. Okay. But if you have professional experience, that's great. It shows that obviously you are focused on your career plans and you have a reason to be doing this degree. Okay. So now, if we just go to the last page, so just a couple of bits and pieces here in terms of how to stay in touch with, well, myself and the team. So we have our Live Uni Global social media channels, especially on Instagram. I'd strongly recommend have a look at that page in particular because we have lots of our international student ambassadors who post content about their life in Liverpool. We have ambassadors who are from Mexico and many other places within Latin America. So you don't have to listen to me talking. You can listen to them talking instead, which is obviously far better. And then also you can go onto our website and chat with our student ambassadors. Again, it's the same students we just talked about. You can select for a particular course, a particular region. If you want to talk to someone from Mexico or a particular degree, then you can find them on the website. Obviously, our country pages, that's the most important thing. That lists everything for Mexico and any other country as well. You can email us to discuss a one-to-one session, for example. If you want to talk about things in particular, just send us an email. My email address is there at the bottom. I'm always happy to do a one-to-one on Zoom if you have any questions. And then if you do have time to visit the campus, so I know some students occasionally will come to the UK to visit different universities to look at their options, let us know. We can give you a free campus tour. And then obviously leave that one there for UCAS, but obviously the applications are specifically on our website. So all you need to remember is when you apply, choose the course, go to the course page and click apply now. And that's what you need to do. So it's very simple, very straightforward for the applications. Okay. I think that is everything. Yep. So we are finished. So I'll hand over to Sophia now, and if you've got any questions or anything you want to talk about, just let me know.
Awesome, thank you. There's one thing I wanted to ask, Brendan. Do you take the Pearson English test, the PTE?
There is Pearson on the list, but we need to check the individual course pages to see which ones are accepted. Because there are some, but I can't remember which ones are listed. Yeah.
Because we do have a discount with them, so I'm just going to pop the code on the chat. So if anyone wants to look at it, if your particular course takes it, you want to take advantage of this, it's a 20% discount.
Yeah, perfect. Definitely do that.
Yeah. So Miguel asked, which are the scholarships we can get at the same time? So I was telling him that he can get funding from different funding bodies at the same time, but scholarships is the higher one. Is that correct?
Yeah, so with the scholarships, yeah, you can't combine them. So you would normally go for the highest one that's offered to you, basically. So the ones we talked about, the £5,000 or 50%, they cannot be put together. You would have one or the other depending on what the university offers you. And again, with the 50%, it's only in the management school in particular.
Okay, thank you. Montserrat asks, if I already have an unconditional letter for a master's, how much time does it take to know if I got or not the 50% scholarship?
Okay. So if someone has an unconditional offer already, assuming this is for September 2025, the decisions are being made at the moment for September entry. So I don't know when you'll find out exactly. It may be maybe a month or two potentially. So I say be patient for about a month or so and then get in touch. Because like I said, there's no separate applications. If you've received your offer, then you've done everything that you need to do. But obviously they have to process all of them in January, February, March. So you basically give them a few weeks to do that. If you want to email me later and then ask me to ask them, that's absolutely fine. And hopefully that'll be okay. But I would say wait a little bit longer just in case to let them process all the applications.
Thank you. ¿Alguien más? Someone else? Any other questions?
Any more questions?
Don't be shy.
Or if there's anything you want to ask, Sophia,
so
anything you want to ask from my side, anything you need to know that we can pass on?
Yeah, no, it was basically there's someone here, Tanya.
Okay.
Does the University of Liverpool have enactus active in it? Do you understand that word, enactus?
Enactus. I possibly that might be the case, but I'm not familiar. I'm not engaged with them directly, but it may be the case. Maybe we're looking on our Guild of Students, the Students' Union website, just to double check, because it may be the case, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much, Brendan, for your time. There's another one. Miguel, is there any course related to natural sciences?
So that's kind of under environmental sciences. So the answer is yes. So environmental sciences, geography, and so on. There are numerous courses available in that area. Again, I'd recommend look on our website, go to the course listings, and it's by subject, and you can have a look at environment. Assuming this is correct, assuming this is what we're talking about, the environmental sciences section. Click on there, and it will list the courses. If you cannot find it, then let me know by email, and I can help you with that. I think somebody has their hand up as well.
Yes, Luis.
Hello, Brenda. Thank you so much for the information. It's very useful for us.
Okay.
I've got 3 questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is there any way to work work in England after making the master's degree?
Yeah, so I'll answer that question first. Yeah, so international students in the UK can work during their degree as well. So you can work 20 hours a week as a standard rule for most universities in the UK. You can also work full-time during certain holidays. So as a master's student, you could work full-time at Christmas and Easter holidays, but for the rest of the year, you can work 20 hours a week doing most jobs, basically, whether it's working in a shop or something. But then when you have finished your degree, yes, there is the post-study work visa, which is available to international students in the UK. You apply for it, but it's a fairly easy process. And you do that at the end of your degree, and you can stay for 2 years in the UK to work. Okay, it's only the 2 years. Anything you do after that in terms of visas or anything, it's sponsored job skilled work visas. That's a different situation. I can't really talk about that in much detail, but you can stay for 2 years on that visa. You just need to apply for it before you finish your degree. It's the post-study work visa for 2 years. Okay.
Okay, great. The second question I've got is so we can apply to the 20% discount, full net discount in the scholarship, and also the 50% management school discount.
So you have to choose one or the other, basically. So
Okay.
if you get offered the 50%, for example, you might not want to go for the 20%, for example. It depends on your personal circumstances. You cannot put them together, but you might be offered both of them, depending on whether you're successful for the 50%. But you cannot put them together. You would need to choose one or the other.
Okay, so full net discount is in some way not mixable with the scholarships.
Exactly. So this is the case with basically all the funding arrangements we have in all countries. The scholarships cannot be combined. But like Sophia was saying, you can combine other funding body options, but you cannot combine these scholarships with other things. So we could not put the two together. You'd have to choose one or the other, I'm afraid.
Okay. And the last one is that, can you tell us an approximate cost of living in Liverpool?
It's a tricky one because it depends on what kind of things you like to do. I know for myself, it can vary quite a lot depending on what you're doing. Like I said, with the accommodation, for example, I would expect to pay realistically, maybe 170, 180 pounds per week for your accommodation. That includes your utilities, so electric, gas, water, Wi-Fi, etc., is all included in your accommodation fees on campus. And then in terms of shopping, for example, food, it can be quite cheap actually. So in the past, I've actually managed to do this for about 30, 40 pounds a week. You can do for less. I have 2 dogs, so obviously I pay a bit more. But if you're careful with your money, you can live quite cheaply whilst you're here. It could be 30 pounds a week, more or less. If you want to go out eating, obviously restaurants are different. And then in terms of travel, like I said before, you don't really need to travel anywhere. There's no travel costs, so that's kind of zero basically. So you're only looking at accommodations plus the food and so on, a few £100 a week. So it's quite affordable compared to other places in the UK. Again, it depends what other things you want to do if you want to travel outside of Liverpool, but they're the core costs whilst you're here at the university.
Okay. So it's pretty affordable. Well, thank you so much for your answers, Brandon.
Okay, no worries. Happy to help. Okay. I think we have another person there.
Yeah,
Is
Alan.
it Alan? Yep.
Hey there. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So my question related to Luis. So what is the approximately income for a working student job?
So when you're talking about the part-time work, usually it would just be over the national minimum wage. So I think it's £12 something per hour. So that's what the kind of the salary is per hour if you're working as a part-time student 20 hours a week. That's what you would get. So it's basically it's like a little bit over £12 an hour times 20 basically. So that's what you could make whilst you're working part-time. If you're doing the 2-year post-study work visa, for example, or if you're doing the year in industry, I cannot really comment on what the salary would be because it very much depends on which job it is, which industry. Obviously, if we're working in anything to do with STEM, engineering, the salaries are better, but it depends on every individual job, so I can't really comment on that, to be honest. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. But I know that for the part-time work, it is £12 something per hour for everybody who's over 21. So I think that basically applies to everybody here. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Thank you.
Sorry. So thank you so much, Brendan, for your time. Anyone else who has any follow-up questions, you have our emails. Please don't hesitate to contact us. And remember, this is being recorded, so you can find it later on. You can find it, Beatriz, on our YouTube page of FUNED. So thank you again for your time. Thank you so much, Brendan, for your support as always. And yeah, hope to see a lot of you going to Liverpool in the autumn.
Indeed, yes. We hope to see as many of you as possible. And like I said, please do reach out if you've got any questions. We're always happy to help you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Good night for you. Good afternoon for everyone else here.
Yeah. Good to see
Bye.
you. Take care. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.